we are headed over to the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex today for the grand opening of the Gateway exhibit. We're going to get a little bit more in-depth look at some of the stuff inside of the Gateway exhibit. I think we're going to go up on the roof of it for like a special photo op. Should be a great day. We've made it inside the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex and we're headed towards Gateway. And I think we're headed up to the roof for a special photo op just for us today. But I wanted to point something out. They have these arrows out in front of the exhibit that are, you can see them moving because they are pointing at whatever it says on them. So right now, oh, and they change. Okay. I thought it was like a static word. So if you're wondering where Pluto is, if you could see, really far into space, that's where it would be. And then it changes. And there's a couple more over there. Venus is pointing up here. If you came here at night, yeah, look.
And then they change.
Oh, what's this one headed to? Fomalhaut. So we are up on top of the roof and we've got views of launch pads and VABs and all of the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex. Overlooking the rocket garden, we've got a view of everything. There's Blue Origin right there. And we've got the rest of the visitor complex. And the vehicle assembly building off on the horizon and one of the launch pads back there too. Wow. Yeah. No, this is awesome.
Congratulations to all who made it happen. This is your day. Thank you for all your hard work. And please, welcome to Gateway. Enjoy Deep Space Launch Complex.
So it is a little bit before opening and we came inside of the exhibit hall. So as you walk in, it says, "Welcome to the Gateway." And then you turn the corner and they have a display here talking about present and future technology. Oh, there's the space station right there. Look at that. I like the name Dream Chaser, that's fun. And we head a little bit further in. We are inside the exhibit, the big reveal of seeing everything on display. And you can see we've got some, this is just a mock-up. This is from a company called Sierra. But this is a space-flown SpaceX booster. And this is one of the boosters that actually, if you remember when they sent up that Tesla Roadster, this is one of the boosters that sent that up. So they do have lots of different space-flown artifacts. For instance, this Orion capsule right here has been into space. That Dragon capsule back there has been into space. But then like the Sierra module has not been up into space. So it's a really interesting exhibit hall. And like I said, there are no like old artifacts in here. This is all new stuff. Either stuff that has just recently been into space or stuff that is going into the space in the near future. And then they have some mock-ups of some of the rockets that we have launching from here, like this Atlas V launches from Kennedy Space Center. It's a Starliner spacesuit. This is a reproduction, but I did hear that Adam Savage from Mythbusters actually made this suit, which is a fun fact. So if you are here and you're looking for something that has been flight flown, just look for this stamp right here. So this notates that this Dragon capsule, this is the first Dragon capsule, is actually flown into space. Wow. Yeah, look at the damage on here. Just from re-entering the atmosphere. Now I know this looks like damage, it looks like crack, it's not. That is supposed to be there, but all the burning and all the scorching on the outside, that is from being used for space missions. And I like that they did this, where all of the information that is here is on these monitors, but these monitors are actually see-through. Like, look at how neat that is. That's future tech right there. Oh yeah, you can see they did clean it up a little bit from when they fished it out of the ocean. Wow, yeah, look at all that scorching on that. I'd be interested to know like what kind of work they have to do on these to like scrub them clean before putting them on display. And then when you go upstairs, there is an exhibit on satellites. You can see some of the smaller satellites that we have put into space or into orbit, like CubeSats and stuff like that. And then over here is Spaceport KSC, which is what they imagined a spaceport of the future would look like. And inside there's a ride. There's 4 different versions of a ride that you can get on. It's kind of similar to, say, like Soarin' at Epcot, but a little bit different. We're gonna go on it and I'll show you guys how it works and what the shows look like in there. This is pretty neat. This is a capsule called the Shooting Star by Sierra Space, and they can use it to transport food and experiments up to the space station, and it also gives the astronauts or the people up in the space station a space to go. Like they could go inside of there and use that area if they needed to for experiments, or it just gives them a lot of room to get in there and pull the experiments out. There's also all of these interesting projections that they have around some of the artifacts that kind of show you what different areas do. So like right here, this is where they would store the water. And in order to see those, you just use these touch screens here in order to activate the projections on the capsule. And you can learn things like about the heat shields or about splashdown. It's so neat. It's also interesting to see how big this thing is. Like when you think about space travel, you don't necessarily think like about the people that are going to be inside of this. Like these things are meant to transport people. So just to give you some perspective, the Orion capsule is meant to foster in a new era of space exploration and will bring crew and cargo to the moon and eventually Mars. I've been trying to do this all morning and I've been failing horribly. I feel like I almost got it that time. Combustion was started too soon. Okay, I think I have to wait till it gets down to 0. So let's try again. All right, so I wait till this reaches 18. So at 18, release the liquid hydrogen. And then once the hydrogen reaches the combustion chamber, then I release the oxygen and then tap it. It said that I did that too soon. Let's see if I did it. Sounds like I did not. Ooh. Maybe I need to let it like build in there a little bit. All right, I waited a second to release the oxygen. Mission success! We did it! Oh my goodness, I'm a rocket, wow! Look at me, nice work, Tim. So I just ignited an RL-10 rocket engine by Aerojet and Rocketdyne that will be part of the upper stage of the Space Launch System. It really is intense here. Like you can see all the internal workings of this rocket engine. It is really interesting to see that they have a space-flown Dragon capsule and they have a mock-up of the Boeing Starliner capsule right next to it. And then right above it is a SpaceX booster. Also, a fun thing that's happening right now, this is Bruce. He is an astronaut and he is taking photos with people here in the exhibit hall. We're heading into an interactive deep space habitat that feels kind of bigger than a lot of apartments in New York. The neat thing about thinking about things that are going to be up in space is microgravity. So you can put exercise equipment on the ceiling because there is no up or down when you're in space. Got some food here that astronauts might eat. Looks like a pretty good chocolate chip cookie. Orange grapefruit drink. Oh, a beefsteak. Oh, you got some, it might be hard to see in there, but they have some like sleeping quarters in here. Kind of like a little tent they zip themselves up inside of. I wonder if they like bounce around in there or if they strap themselves down. Workout equipment up on the ceiling. All these are different drawers and things. We got some plants. They're growing the plants upside down. Different experiment boxes. A 3D printer over here so they can print parts and different various things for use. A nice hygiene kit here. I don't know what this is. It's like a joystick. Maybe this is how you control it. Oh, you would control the rover on the surface of the planet that you're at. Interesting. They have a little exhibit here where you can pilot the Starliner. And like we said, that is the Starliner capsule over there. Also, they have a place down here called the Space Bowl Bistro. Let's see, we've got some various drinks, some acai bowls, acai smoothie, and then you can create your own bowl. So you select a base, a protein, and up to 4 toppings, and then a sauce. So, you know, you get some like rice in there, some quinoa, some chicken, and then you add in all the vegetables over here. So I came upstairs to also give you guys an overview of the exhibit, looking straight down this SpaceX booster, and then down to the floor down there, straight past the Orion capsule. Then you can see there are also various models around, like this is SLS. We've got a Delta Heavy over here, we got a Vulcan. But the whole reason that I'm up here is because this is where The ride is, and there are 4 different experiences you can experience on the ride. It's like a motion simulator ride. The line to get on this ride right now wraps all the way around. So it's quite a long wait. The good news is there is an observation bay where we can go in and see one of the experiences. So we're gonna go in and watch Red Planet. Actually, I wonder if you can see all of them. Oh no, I guess you're just seeing Red Planet. We're just kind of at the bottom of the screen.
3, 2, 1, liftoff.
We'll be getting clearance from the Lunar Gateway on our way out. The Gateway was our first real step towards deep space exploration. It serves as a staging ground for missions to the moon's surface and to Mars. Lunar Gateway, this is EOS.
You are cleared for Mars.
Course laid in for our planetary neighbor. In the early days of the rover program, this journey used to take about 7 months. Welcome to Mars. The dusty red planet we know today didn't always look this way. A couple billion years ago, Mars was mostly covered in water. The mystery of what happened to Mars water is a big part of what the researchers at the Mars Outpost are studying. If we can understand what caused Mars climate change, we might be able to better care for our own planet. That big gouge in the surface is a canyon called Valles Marineris. It's about 5 times as long and 4 times as deep as Earth's Grand Canyon. We're coming up on Olympus Mons, the largest volcano in the solar system. It stands 3 times higher than Mount Everest and is roughly the size of the state of Arizona. Martian Outpost, this is EOS.
You are cleared for approach.
Today we'll be visiting one of Mars' pioneer explorers. Perseverance rover arrived at the planet in the year 2021. Before we had people at the outpost searching for Martian life, rovers were our primary tool to study the planet. They have ranged boldly through this alien landscape to test new technologies and uncover evidence of Mars' warm, wet past, including minerals formed in ancient water and the chemicals necessary to support living microbes. It also arrived with the Ingenuity helicopter, the first test of powered flight on another planet. Perseverance and Ingenuity brought us closer to getting boots on Martian soil.
A dust storm appears to be forming over the crater.
We're going to stay low to avoid any damage to our heat shields. Martian dust storms pose a real problem for equipment like solar panels. A planet-wide storm caused the demise of the Steadfast Opportunity rover in 2018. But now, it's time to make the journey back home, to a world still lush with water and life.
EOS Mission Control. Welcome back. Cleared for landing on LC-73.
EOS holding. From the time humanity first spied that fiery orb tracking across the heavens, we've been fascinated by our red neighbor. Whether we're exploring remotely via rovers or in person at the outpost, the exploration of Mars is full of exciting possibilities.
Welcome back to Earth.
So we just saw the static room, but if you want to go on the ride and you have a kid with you that is too short because the height requirement is 39 inches to ride this, they do have child swap. All right, let's stop off the Space Bowl Bistro. I'm gonna grab an acai bowl. Came outside to eat my lunch, but there is a steady stream of people heading into the Gateway experience. But for lunch, I decided to go with the acai bowl. So, you know, acai, strawberries, blueberries, granola, some coconut in there. And this was $10. So we are all done with Gateway, exploring the rest of Kennedy Space Center, and there is an astronaut character out here meeting and greeting with guests. So I still got a little bit of time here today, so let's pass the time in Atlantis. We'll walk underneath the solid rocket boosters and the external fuel tank that were strapped to the space shuttle, and that's what sent it up into space. There is a sign right outside of Atlantis that has an interesting fact on it. The external fuel tank is orange because that is the color of the protective foam insulation. The tanks on the first 2 shuttle missions were painted white for added protection, but the practice was discontinued due to weight concerns, which is interesting to me because they just didn't paint it because the paint weighed too much. So I'm in the pre-show room for Atlantis, and I'm kind of in the front row here, and I think this is going to be a bad spot to watch the show, but I think it'll make for a good reveal.
Welcome home.
you ever get a chance to come here and see Atlantis, I do highly suggest it. It is awe-inspiring. And I've seen this a bunch of times, and every time it gets me. It blows my mind how big it is and that this thing was in space. Side note, where I watched the reveal was probably not the best. You probably want to be about halfway back in the center of the theater. It's really mind-blowing how much space there was, like how much cargo space there was inside of this vehicle. So two things. I'm actually underneath Space Shuttle Atlantis right now, but earlier I got to do the Space Shuttle launch experience, which if you haven't had a chance to do that, it's super fun. It's a like a simulator, kind of like Star Tours, like same idea as Star Tours, not as like jerky as Star Tours, but it brings you through a simulated launch experience as if you were on the space shuttle. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. And then another thing is that if you come here and you get the chance to, this area back here is called Forever Remembered, and it has pieces of Columbia and Challenger in it, and it's very emotional and a very like awesome experience. I have done videos on these in the past, and we'll put a link to a few videos in the description down below, but I have to meet the rest of my group right now in the gift shop, so that's where I'm headed to right now. And we're gonna go through the astronaut training experience, which I have done before, and we'll put a link to that in the description down below. We can't do the training experience today, but we are gonna walk through it and have a look at it. And I haven't been in there since they opened it, so I'm excited to see it again. All right, here we are, ATX, which stands for the Astronaut Training Experience. So inside the Astronaut Training Experience, guests can experience different things or different challenges around here. So take, for instance, this is a VR Mars mission where you have to go and complete tasks on Mars. And there's lander rover simulators over there. This is the microgravity simulator. Basically, this is kind of neat. So you lay in this chair, and then they pump air underneath it, so it kind of just like floats around on the ground. And you have to go underneath this framework here and try to complete tasks, plug in different cords, snap buttons, attach things, use wrenches, use tools. And so there are different packages that you can get here, and they all vary in price. Depending on what you're doing, you can do a whole package or you can do just individual experiences. And we'll put a link in the description down below so you guys can see the different price scales for these experiences. We get a little bit closer look at the lander rover simulator. And you can see there are some chairs down inside of there. And you get strapped into those chairs, and then the controls lean back in front of you. And then there's a screen in there, so it's really like you are controlling a lander and then driving a rover. So this is kind of a neat little section of this. So you would come up as if you were getting into a rocket to go to Mars. And then you would enter into the rocket, the Pegasus, and then you go into, I don't know if this is the rocket or once you get onto Mars, then you're in like a rover, and then it docks into the Mars base. And then in here you've got engineering, and then we're going to go into the life sciences lab so we can kind of see experiments that they would do. It's all set up for people or kids right now that are in camp are in here doing experiments. And then there is a greenhouse over here too. This is neat. They're growing all kinds of different plants in here, like microgreens. And what is this, parsley or yeah, parsley. What do we got here? These are tomatoes, not looking so good. Some flowers here. Some romaine, sunflower, wildflower. Oh, is this millet? All right, so we are all done at the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex for today. We're gonna go up and have a look at the space bar, maybe get a little something to eat up there. We are back here at the space bar. Still a beautiful view, but I couldn't reiterate it enough. This would be a fantastic spot to watch a rocket launch. All right, so we're back at the hotel. What a fantastic day. I really enjoyed everything that we did at Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex. We are headed back tomorrow to do some more fun stuff, but how good was Gateway? Like, I always love seeing new stuff. You guys know that I'm a huge fan of new stuff coming to the Orlando area, and Gateway was a fantastic exhibit, a lot of really interesting things and neat interactives. Just seeing space-flown objects or things that have been into space is just such a neat experience. I'm glad that they did this. Like, and it's cool that they're focusing on future and present tech. So like a lot of the other stuff around Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex is all of the stuff that's from, you know, the old days, like Space Shuttle, Apollo, things like that. Stuff that's like from the past, which is still very interesting and very cool, but I like that they're showing things about the future. So all in all, a fantastic day. I wanted to say thank you to Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex for having us out. And with that being said, we are off. We'll see y'all tomorrow. And now it's time to pay the price.